Let's take a second to get our bearings here and think about what we want to do next.
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the Whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Garancy and Kubek. Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Kubek. Please, it's not funny.
Mr. Quebec, I'm here on official police business.
The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air.
Leo said you're friends with Manana, is that true?
The mention of Manana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again. They're friends?
You got some impressive pots there.
He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove.
What's in the borscht you're making there?
The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his and then seems to wait for you to speak. I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return.
Mercury rising. Run your fingers through your hair.
Borscht need more vodka?
He picks up a bottle from the shelf.
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy and in good spirits. Clever move by the Union.
Vodka borscht! I love it, Bratan! Turn it the fuck up and then ask for some yourself!
Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg.
Yes, turn the vodka up.
He smiles, nodding vigorously, then pours half a bottle of vodka into the pot. With a whistle, he stirs the brew.
Gracie, could I have some of that brew?
He smiles and nods enthusiastically and, chattering away in his language, ladles some brew into a small thermal cup, then hands it to you.
I don't think I need anything else. Stay masculine.
Yes? What is it?
Did you hear that? Did you hear me sing? Did you like it?
That was pretty good, Harry. Wasn't it, Jean?
Huh, that was. Yeah, that was absolute shit, if you want my opinion. Drunken shit. Haven't wanted anything to end this badly since I had cluster headaches. Horrible. Truly horrible. I beg of you, don't ever subject anyone to this torture again. I mean, seriously, you need to...
Jean, he's not right. Don't make it worse, and I really liked it.
She actually did.
Are you with him?
Of course I'm with him. Why do you ask?
He seems like a cool guy.
Well, he's not. He's a sack of shit barely kept together by crazy glue. But at least he tries, unlike you.
Please, let's not turn this into another exchange, okay?
You're the police, right? Cool. So am I.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything, Judith.
What are you, the police, doing here?
I'm just looking out for...
You?
No one. I'm just a man with sunglasses. And you are?
I just want to do my job, that's all.
Paintbrush? Check. Heavy fuel oil? Check. Now the only thing left to do is paint the wall. The paintbrush in your hand is like a loaded revolver. What will it be, Desperado? Quite a few things come to mind.
No parking.
You've spoken. The wall will now silently repeat the message for a decade or so, until the sea air degrades the paint, adding another layer of detritus to the city.
Very poetic. Real poetry. Should we return to our murder investigation? I hear there's a really bad one we are supposed to solve.
You hear distant traffic. Night is falling on the city. The curtains shift just a little. Someone is watching from within.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
The young man on the balcony gives you a bright smile before taking another drag from his cigarette.
His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets and motorways flashing like diamonds. It feels like a Friday. He seems to be in a good mood tonight.
Yes, the cleaning lady let us in.
Beautiful.
He replies, smiling. As he looks at you, something sparkles in his eyes.
So tell me, are you here to make things right again?
I'm not going to make things just right. I'm going to make them spectacular.
Beautiful.
He says again. A nearby street lamp casts shadows on his chin, drawing out the slender cheekbones.
I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
By the way, I'm really digging the view here.
Mm-hmm. That's why I chose this place. Martinez is special, isn't it?
He looks away, his cigarette end glowing in the dark.
Wait. Suddenly you are digging things?
Is it Friday tonight? It feels like Friday.
It does feel like the end of the week. It's so magical. The white falling against the black.
And why would I want to meet your friend again?
Trust me. You do.
Very well, I'll talk to him. But first I want to talk to you. I have so many questions.
That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my friend you're looking for, not me.
He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and looks around. It's getting dark and the neighboring windows have lit up one by one. Downstairs, a cat crosses the yard, disappearing into the bush.
Besides, I've got to run.
He's going to leave you alone again. That's sad.
But I just found you again.
Just look at it. It's a beautiful night. Who's going to stay in on a night like this?
Only if you promise that we'll talk again. It's important.
Something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth as you're saying those words.
We'll talk. Just not tonight. Take care, all right?
And he's gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him.
There's something so different about him that I can't just put my finger on.
Different, of course.
His shirt. Why is his shirt always unbuttoned?
His shirt.
The lieutenant squints his eyes, trying to hold back laughter. His shirt.
His shirt.
He's trying to dive deep into the mysteries of his shirt.
His shirt. No, I don't know why his shirt is always unbuttoned.
His mouth tightens as though trying to hold something back.
Come on, detective, let's go. We've got a potential witness to interview. His Sunday friend, remember?
A quarterly business magazine. An empty ashtray. Dishes soaked up in a pot. Flyers for underground parties. Dates for open lectures at a local university. An exquisite canopy bed made of metal. A Samaran canonical hat, +1 to logic, -1 to suggestion. Expensive men's perfume lingers in the air. Party Dragon's silk robe, +1 drama and electrochemistry. An old photo of the same apartment, dated year 01. Buckets of paint on a layer of old newspapers.
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
The man in business casual removes his cufflinks.
You shouldn't be seeing him in an intimate setting. For some reason, you feel this man is your superior. Superior, but he's not in the command chain.
My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stabilité on assignment from Sur-la-Clé. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I am here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
Hanging? What a drag. He seems like a cultured gentleman. You should ask him about the finer things.
Before we go on, I absolutely have to inquire about this wonderful canopy on the bed.
Oh yes, my friend has a great eye for these things. He refuses to tell me where it came from. It's a mystery. I believe they call this type of frame industrial. It's very comfy. That's really all I can tell you about it.
He forms a little rooftop with his fingers. Cold air sweeps in from the balcony.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
What's an official like you doing in Martinez?
The coalition is only looking out for the price stability. Inflation is a killer, like a heart disease blocking the normal circulation of the economy. It must be controlled. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight.
Okay, but what are you doing here in this apartment?
Well, I'm renovating it. It is an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took the top 4 stories off. This, of course, happened when the coalition forces landed here. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when we arrived here.
So you're some kind of bureaucrat.
Yes, as I said before, I am a commissioner from Sur-la-Clé working for the Institute of Price Stabilité. This is one of the main projects of the Moral Inter.
Wait, there isn't actually an Institute of Price Stability, is there? Or maybe there is. God, it's impossible to understand whether someone from the Moral Intern is joking or not.
What is this international community?
La Communauté Internationale is what Revacholians colloquially call the coalition. In other words, the nations that stopped the disaster of the revolution.
What is the price stabilité?
It is the most important thing.
That doesn't tell me anything.
It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining high levels of employment, which is essential for maintaining the social stability.
Basically, it makes sure the price of bread doesn't change.
Précisément. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to produce. That's why the Institute of Price Stabilité works to keep inflation just below 2%.
Below 2% of what?
But not too far below, no. Too below is also bad. Below, but close to 2%.
You're not answering my questions at all.
The Coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. Would you like an informational pamphlet?
Okay, sure, give me a leaflet.
A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the raison d'être of the moral intern. It's the reason why I identify as a moralist. But oh, I don't have my leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available is part of the moral intern's commitment to transparency.
I've heard about this Moralist International before, but I want to know more.
It's the international organization for moralists. Hence, Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many mind babies, as is the Coalition.
So, Kim, what I'm hearing is that we're moral intern bitches?
Doing one's job doesn't automatically make one anyone's bitch. Besides, there are more nefarious powers to work for than the moral intern.
Are you a moralist?
But of course.
But why?
Because moralists believe in a normal, stable world governed by democratic values.
Lieutenant, are you a moralist?
Me? I'm a lieutenant of the RCM, dedicated to maintaining law and order in Ravachol.
A very moralist answer.
The lieutenant is practiced in the art of putting on a show for one's superiors.
But what is a normal, stable world?
The Occident is part of the normal world. Oranje, sur la clé.
Martinez doesn't seem very normal or stable to me.
Martinez? No. Martinez is something else.
What about the rest of Rivachol? Is it part of the normal world?
Rivachol is generally difficult. It's led by an interim government, which means it hasn't yet achieved full democracy. But they are working towards it. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking.
I don't think I'm a moralist. Moralism sounds incredibly boring. I want more action.
Do you think peace is boring? What about prosperity?
Yeah, that shit sounds like a snooze fest.
My friend, that is only because you have never known the alternative. And I pray you never do.
The smile he gives you is straight off a campaign poster. The kind of smile focus group tested to appeal to the most gullible swathe of the electorate.
Now, enough of this delightful political interlude. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Tell me about Sur le Cliff.
What's there to say? Sur-la-Clé is a modern, urbanized country that measures very high on the Human Development and Freedom Index. Mostly, though, it's known as the executive heart of EPIS. Moreover, it is a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is only one of its many darlings whose progress it supports and cherishes.
Darlings? That can't be an official designation.
What makes Revachol Sur le Cliff's darling?
Because a great percentage of Revachol's culture hails from Sur-la-Clé. Its language, its people, its cuisine even. Or at least in the downtown La Delta area.
Jamrock and other parts of the international zone have been mercifully spared of Sur-la-Clé's love for meatballs and mashed potatoes.
Tell me about Oranje.
Oranje is an exemplary nation who, as a core member of EPIS, contributes 28% of our annual budget. Next to Sur-la-Clé, Oranje is probably the most prominent member of the international community.
Which of them is more EPIS?
As founding members, they are both very EPIS. Oranje carries a lot of political weight, while Sur-la-Clé takes care of the business side of things. Sur-la-Clé hosts the headquarters of the major EPIS institutions.
Okay, but outside of EPIS, what is Oranje?
Oranje's economy is one of the most advanced in the world. It has successfully transitioned from heavy industry to advanced services and generally acts as an engine for sustainable change in the international community.
But that didn't tell you anything about Oranje.
Can't you just talk like a normal person?
About what?
About Oranje, just tell me what it's like there.
Oh, it's very urban and very well organized. Their streets are clean, their horse cars run on time, the people are polite and efficient. Like I said, they are an example for less emerged nations to follow.
Enough business. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you wish, officer.
The man who was lynched outside your window was from Oranje.
Oh, that's unusual. The Oraniers are not the kind of people you associate with heinous crimes. It's such an upstanding and responsible country.
Yeah, that's not how I would describe this guy.
Well, certainly one cannot rely simply on generalizations. That would go against our commitment to individual freedoms. And, of course, any loss of life is a tragedy. So tell me, what have you learned about the victim?
His name was Lily, and he was 42 years old.
Ah, what a shame. A man cut down in his prime earning years.
Lily wasn't his real name, it was a nom de guerre,
Ah, he was a soldier.
a mercenary.
Aha! A condottiere. Yes, it's hard to believe they still exist.
He was a motherfucker and a killer.
Officer, you shouldn't speak ill of the dead.
It's okay, he told me so.
So you spoke with the victim before he died?
No, this was after he died.
The man gives the lieutenant a nervous look. The lieutenant raises his eyebrows as though he'd stopped paying attention. Your partner's doing you a favor by pretending not to have heard your insane ramblings.
He liked to get high and brag about war crimes he had committed.
Extremely distasteful behavior. I cannot condone either drug use or needless boasting. Suffice it to say, that is not how we do things in Sur-la-Clé.
I like the omission of war crimes. He was a poor kid before the Oranese government put him in a military academy.
It's the responsibility of any good welfare state to take care of its most unfortunate citizens.
They turned him into a psychopathic killing machine.
They gave him a successful career.
The man holds up a finger as though he's made a brilliant point.
What else has your investigation uncovered?
After he was discharged from the military, he joined a mercenary outfit named Krenel.
That is extremely unfortunate. Yes, it's regrettable that this practice has a history in certain Occidental nations, even highly advanced members of EPIS. But rest assured, the Oraniese government has committed to producing a timetable that would lay out a path to transition to a professional army. Soon, there'll be no need for mercenaries like this poor man.
What kind of a timetable are we talking about here?
Oh, it's hard to put an exact date on it. I believe the proposal for the timetable is due to be completed around 60 or 61.
That's like a decade from now.
See? That's the kind of progress that the moral intern makes possible.
Well, as a merc, he killed a lot of people in the Seminoles Islands for the sake of some Oranese pharmaceutical industry people.
A great shame, yes. Colonialism is a dark specter in Oranje's past.
Who's talking about the past? That's still going on.
Which is why the work of the moral intern is so critical. It is our great bulwark against another century of bloodshed.
Well, that's all. That's who he was.
As I said, the loss of any life is terrible, no matter who the person may have been. I do hope you're able to bring his killer or killers to justice. We must show that the rule of law still applies, even in Rivachol.
So you actually witnessed the lynching?
I'm sorry to say I did, officer.
The man gives a solemn nod.
He didn't see the hanging. He saw the little show staged by the Hardys. Let him talk. He may know more than even he knows.
Start from the beginning, if you don't mind.
Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play.
He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers, like a drama teacher setting the scene.
What do you mean, like in a play?
It was just so strange. I could barely comprehend what was happening. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body. And then I saw all the surrounding windows go dead, one by one. That's when I understood. I should not be seeing this.
That lines up with previous testimony, doesn't it? Well done, detective.
Thank you, sir. I think we've got the picture. Anything else stand out?
Only that there were about 8 or 10. I couldn't make out anything. It was so dark. And it was quiet. Quietest lynching I've ever heard of, let alone heard. But I suspect you knew that already. I can't say I'm surprised. The fine reputation of the men and women serving in the RCM is well deserved.
Can you tell me about your friend?
Ah, my friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra, and life has not been easy for him. But he understands the importance of education. He has taken his future into his own hands, and that's all that matters.
What's Kedra?
Kedra is a candidate member of APIS. But, between you and me, their potential membership is a more contentious issue.
What do you mean?
That it's never going to happen. They entered negotiations in 21, and it's been pending ever since.
But that doesn't tell me anything about Kedra itself. Like, is it warm there? Cold? Something in between?
It's warm. It's also known for its mandarin trees and dust storms from Supramundi. Kedra's an emerging market, but it still has a long way to go. Maybe that's why my friend's menage decided to emigrate.
How did you two become friends?
How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insulindian Isola? Oil platforms ablaze in the night? Civil wars lasting for years? Finally, the international community is forced to step in.
You're describing how the coalition occupied Revachol.
One of the wonders of democracy is that everyone is allowed to have his own opinion. And not just allowed, encouraged even. Have you ever tried debate?
What do you mean?
Debating. You should consider joining a debating society for adults. I hear they're oodles of fun. I used to have a flyer for one, but now that I start thinking of it, it was for an improv class anyway. It's this funny theater thing, you know? Very creative. Helps relieve stress.
A chill runs down your spine as you envision a half-dozen people in professional attire standing around a chair, awkwardly pretending to be waiting for a motor bus. It's neither funny nor creative.
You still haven't told me who he is.
Sorry, who?
The man throws a quick glance at his watch. Your friend, the smoker on the balcony. We were just talking about him.
But I told you, officer. He's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our future, especially the arts. It is a cornerstone of our civilization.
So all you can tell me is that he's here to study the arts?
He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes.
As though you weren't envious enough of the boy as is.
Which arts?
He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design, printmaking, who knows? The world is open wide for a talented youth like him.
What are you doing in his apartment by yourself?
I'm just enjoying the view.
What view? It's dark outside.
Listen.
The baby is crying in the neighboring apartment.
Someone's baby is crying?
No, listen. The Insulindian Bay.
What about it?
This place used to be a luxury accommodation before the revolution. Apartments, of course, were much bigger then. A few walls have been added here and there, leaving some of the tenants without a private bathroom or a kitchen. But the million real view stays. You can't take that away.
He knocks on the balcony door, his face mirrored in the dark glass. I was asking about your friend.
My friend comes and goes. I'm sure you'll see him around. He's a busy bee.
A busy bee? What an odd choice of words.
I had something else in mind.
I'm all ears, officer.
Let's not rat out Clausier. Thanks, I've got all I need.
A moment, officer. Do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave.
Hang on, why can't we talk later?
It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen. And I'm pressed for time. After you leave, I should be leaving as well.
That's not the real reason he's so apprehensive. Men in his position shouldn't be seen loitering around in underprivileged young men's apartments in the middle of the night.
Thanks for the heads up, but my work here is done.
Of course. I'm glad I could help.
Moss crawls on these bathroom tiles. Actual moss. Was there anywhere in here that we failed to get into previously?
Master Investigator, you just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you?
It's my duty as a cop to investigate every square inch of this world.
Attaboy, the world's secrets were made for you. They wait patiently for you to uncover them.
Thought gained. The Jamrock Shuffle. Temporary research bonus, -1 esprit de corps. Confusing behavior. The problem? But now it's clear to you. Now it's clear you like to look inside containers. You like to open doors and see what's behind them. Maybe secrets? Maybe more juicy containers. Let's be honest. You like all containers. Trash cans, utensil trays, manholes, coat pockets, secret containers left behind by the Philippian kings that hold forbidden relics. Okay, you haven't come across one of those yet, but one day. Wait. Is that why you're so hellbent on opening containers? Do you think you'll find the Holy Scepter and the Orb de Montaigne?
A plaster cast. Honestly, he does kind of look like you after all.
Kim, you have to admit this Krasmazov bears a striking resemblance to me.
Hold on a second. Is this why you broke in here? To find out whether you're Krasmazov?
I have to consider and investigate all possibilities.
Except that Krasmazov is dead. He's been dead for 50 years now.
Just humor me for a moment. Don't you see the resemblance?
Well, you both do seem to share an affinity for sideburns. But it seems like old Kras here didn't drink nearly as much as you.
Maybe this bust shows him before he started drinking.
Very well. Let's look for identifying features then. Doesn't he have a birthmark right here? What about you?
I can't tell. I can't see my face.
All right. But here's the big thing. Krasmazov looks Samaran, and you don't.
I'm part Samaran myself.
Okay, you win. Be Krasmazov then. I don't care. Why are you so hell-bent on proving that you're Krasmazov anyway?
Because I'm a communard.
All right, Kras. You fought in the revolution and everything, if you say so.
And why does this tenant have a bust of Krasmazov in their bedroom anyway?
The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting.
You hear someone walking around inside. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
We got a book. Waves crashing in the darkness. Oh, now that I have my badge, I can talk to Joyce with that. Went to the village on the coast, officer. See you there. Joyce, says the note on the post.
Hello again after... Hi, officer.
A woman in a raincoat stands on the quay, considering an overturned boat. A sword in a scabbard hangs from her hip.
Anything I can help you with?
As always, I am the lawbringer.
You've graduated to Lawbringer now?
Men with authority have their quirks. Comes with never being second-guessed about anything. So what brings you here, Lawbringer?
That depends. Where are we exactly?
A fishing village on the seashore. This place doesn't really have a name. It's sometimes called Elysium.
Why?
The sign on the street leading here is illegible. Has been since they built this place.
The wind rattles her earrings. I have questions. The first is, what's your name?
The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker. I think I have time for questions. And that was actually the second one.
Indeed, you're always confused as to your whereabouts.
I'm looking for someone. Maybe you can help?
Let's see. Who are you looking for?
I'm looking for a suspect who might have stayed in this neighborhood.
Okay. When did this person stay here?
Very recently, over the past few days. She might have arrived on Friday.
Oh. I've been out on the sea for most of the past week. The weather's been good for fishing, so I usually start at 4 in the morning.
Really?
Yes, that's the optimal time. Got to make the most of the calm. I've been sleeping like a corpse after. The sea really takes its toll. Now I'm just waiting for the wind to settle to get out there again. Sorry I couldn't help you out. Maybe I can help you find someone else.
I'm looking for some missing cryptozoologists.
I don't think I know what these are. Care to elaborate?
People who look for animals mainstream scientists deny exist.
Aha! Like snowmen.
Snowmen. I haven't heard about those.
2 odd guys have been wandering around here, nose in sand, talking nonsense about snowmen and the like.
Wait, the like?
Right. Not only snowmen, also green men, monkey men burning rhinos. You get the picture.
Oh, you're getting it. And it is gorgeous.
Where did they go?
Don't really know. Further down the peninsula, I guess. I mean, that's where they were heading. Who else are you looking for besides snowmen?
That's it. I'm not looking for anyone else right now.
Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
I was asked to get your signature.
Were you? This says by signing, I agree to living with construction noise. What exactly is the Union building?
Everett's planning to turn some of the village into a youth center.
What a nice idea. Wouldn't have thought that...
She sounds incredulous about the niceness of the idea.
I thought what exactly?
That Everard and the Union have nice plans for anything. I thought they only cared about themselves. Well, I guess Union members have children too.
And those members have a vote when electing the head of the local chapter.
Here, use my pen.
He has a pen and everything.
She takes it from you, a doubtful look in her eyes, clicks it, and places the tip on the paper.
Here you go.
Wait, why did you sign it?
I shouldn't have.
I mean, it's Everett, so it's probably a mistake.
Probably, but it is a youth centre and I have children. Got to give them something else to do. They're cute and small now, but they're growing up fast. I had my first drink when I was 11 because I was so bored. Anyhow, you also need Isabel's signature. If it's a bad idea, she won't sign. You'll find she's a tougher nut to crack than me.
Sound logic. Division of labor. She leaves the skepticism to the skeptic. Sounds like Isabel is the leader around here.
What do you do around here?
Like I said, fish mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. Right now I'm tarring a little skiff.
Is that enough to make a living?
Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea has given up. The sea is full of surprises.
Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on her.
Interesting. What have you found?
Wood, pieces of glass. Every once in a while we see dead bodies. Human, animal, fish, other odd sea creatures. A mine washed ashore once. Bottles, drugs also. Lost cargo in general. Most of the time it's just wood and glass.
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
This place looks bad. Why don't you leave?
And go where? The fish are plentiful here and we get enough orders to get by. It's not great, but it's something.
Just somewhere away from all this sadness.
People imagine picking up and finding something better is an easy solution. But how is that supposed to work when all your time and energy goes to staying alive? You have almost nothing to set aside to actually fight your way out. I don't mean to complain about my pauper life. We are warm and fed here and... I don't know. There's just something about this shithole.
Nice sword. Does that come with a story?
Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. It's to intimidate folks, mostly.
It is imposing.
It's a regular mass-produced sword, like a shovel or an axe. Nothing fancy, just for intimidation.
Why do you need intimidation tactics?
From time to time, people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day, I caught the eyes of many men. And believe me, men need a lesson in manners from time to time.
So where are all the men now?
Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Others were more thick-headed. And one of them, I ended up marrying.
Where's your husband now?
Gone.
He disappeared. Sounds like a missing persons case.
It absolutely does not. We are not going to look for him.
No. There's nothing to find. He's dead. Lost to the waves.
Oh.
He didn't respect the sea. Went out there, drunk like a skunk, and sure enough, one day the boat was found floating empty. The bloated corpse turned up 2 weeks later. Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago, and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles.
Well, it's healthy to let go and move on. Gotta keep the wheels spinning.
Us working folk don't have the luxury to be bedsick with melancholy. I buried him, mourned for an appropriate amount of time, and went on. Life didn't really change that much for me and the kids.
She glances at the village where 2 little kids are playing with what look like rocks.
This is neither a touchy nor a very interesting topic for her. She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action.
Do it! Hit on the widow! It's the right thing to do!
Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna do that right now. That is a white check. We can retry it. Cool. So I take it that's your skiff over there?
Sure is. The sun, I call her, coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue.
Well, I'll be seeing you. What are these doing in the fish? Franco-Nigerian cavalry boots, +1 perception, okay. This boat is floating freely in the water, unmoored. The planks creak beneath your weight. This ladder leads to a school of fish swimming in the kelp.
I'll just keep the Cordelechi in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier.
She winds the mooring line around the post.
Aye, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way.
Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty?
Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing.
Jetty.
Oh, jetty, oh, jetty.
She responds mournfully.
It's good to see you here, detectives. I only just arrived myself.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
Have you been spying on us?
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the cordelate she read. Like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. White.
What is this? Destruction of property? Hooliganism? Elder abuse? And who is this scamp, anyway?
Who is this scamp? Want me to look into it?
No need. Lillian and I are getting on much better. For one, she appreciates the concept of rent.
So how do you like it here?
How do I like it?
She casts her gaze towards the village, slush melting on the cinder blocks, construction work left half-finished 10 years ago.
Water drips down eaves of Eternite. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name, all the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there?
She squints her eyes.
I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard. A sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right. Politics time. Let's react. Real men, real politics, real thoughts in your head.
You're right to be scared. This is all your fault.
Maybe.
She leans against the railing, looking up at the gray sky.
Have I told you how they discovered this place?
This fishing village?
No. They're in Celindian, Isola.
No, you haven't told me how they found it.
Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty.
"45% is around where I operate. Things are getting better, though.
I knew you would sympathize. Most Revacholians will never know what this place means. Our home. This island of matter. Or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location?
Tell me now, we have time.
Do we?
He glances at his watch. It doesn't look like he does.
I hear you have singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. I would not want to delay you.
This story she will tell only before she leaves Martinez, at the very end of her stay.
Maybe there is something else I can assist you with, while you're hot in pursuit.
I found my badge, by the way.
By love, you did.
She inspects the piece of blue plastic, her eyes scanning from left to right.
Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. I am glad to see a man of high qualification. The situation is precarious. What can I help you with, Lieutenant Freighter?
Thank you, that's all for now. Hard to see the details. The colors, all warm and welcoming, are cozy though. The store is closed for today. Time to put the kids to sleep. A flower trough where nothing really grows. Maybe in spring. A little black swallow circles above you. You hear it chirrup. Rust-eaten letters read Mazut. A kick drum pulse. The music is coming from somewhere on the ice. Full of holes. Could the post hide treasure? Look inside. It must have taken a lot of patience to do this.
A shaggy-looking girl in her late teens or early 20s kneels on the ice with an electronic contraption in her hand. Hearing you approach, she looks up.
Oh. Hello there.
It's cold out here, but she's not wearing a hat. She must be freezing. Everyone knows drugs make you invulnerable to cold. You bet this one likes to party.
Dear child, it's freezing. Where's your hat?
Huh?
She looks up at you, distracted.
Maybe she didn't hear you. A little louder.
I said you should have a hat on.
So should you.
I don't have to do anything. I am the law. You have to do what the law says.
Real cool.
She looks down at the device, mumbling under her breath.
Way to abuse that power, man, she says, thinking you can't hear her.
You know what? Let's go ahead and forget advanced race theory and pop in the law jaw, bringing of the law. Temporary research bonus, -1 rhetoric. Weird jaw. Research time, 3 hours. The problem. Hey, so a little observation. It's all cool, man. Don't freak out, but every time you say, I am the law, and you say it a lot, it's basically hello for you. Your jaw does this weird thing. It sort of shifts sideways, hanging off your face at a jaunty angle, while the word law sounds oddly guttural and low. It's strange. You wouldn't notice it, but after saying you're the law 80,000 times, the question does come up. Why do you have law jaw? And the law says you have to wear a hat in this weather.
What kind of law says that?
The hat law.
Yeah, well... Look, man, fuck the hat.
What did she just say? That's not how a civilian is supposed to address an officer of the law.
This isn't gonna happen. Authority, heroic. Regain authority in her eyes.
Lots of feeling. Feel it up. Way up.
Oh my god, fuck the hat? Is that what you just said to me? I can't believe you told me to fuck the hat.
You're saying it really loud, but it's not coming out right. Maybe add more indignation.
So I should just take this hat I'm wearing and fuck it, right? Engage in sexual intercourse with a hat right here in front of you because you told me so on the sea ice.
More.
Right here on the sea ice.
More.
Give you a little ice cop hat fuck show.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
The girl is visibly shaken.
The lieutenant is watching the scene unfold before his eyes, unsure how to react.
Is that how you see me?
The girl looks down, slowly curling into a ball. That's it. You've earned it. Start crying. Life's hard.
Start crying.
The young woman has kept her eyes trained on her wires, waiting for the sorry spectacle to end. But it's gone awful quiet up there. Then, the sound of sobbing. Looking up, she sees a grown man on the wrong side of 40, his face bloated from alcohol, and God knows what else. Not so quietly crying.
This isn't really about the hat, is it?
No.
You know, you're not the only one with issues. I self-medicate. Shit. Life's a horror, you know? Crying helps, though. Get it out your system, and then maybe we can talk, okay? I'll be here.
Painted with pastels, someone is trying to bring cheer into the world. Having looked away during the final phase of your little episode, the lieutenant now addresses you.
Do you want to talk about what just happened?
That's probably a good idea.
Normally, I'm opposed to discussing one's feelings, especially on duty. But I think this is an exceptional case. So, what do you think happened?
'Tis possible thou couldst persuade the lieutenant 'twas all a part of thy unorthodox method. But can thou persuade thyself?
Convince yourself that you didn't melt down just now.
Believeth in thyself, my liege. 'Twas all a clever ruse.
Don't worry, Kim. It was all a ruse.
Yes, a clever ruse, I see.
You don't, but you will.
Even so, in the future, could you please refrain from emoting too much on duty? The quasi-legal status of the RCM means we need to project strength twice as consistently as any other police force in the world.
Weakness is strength.
Not when projecting strength. Then it's just weakness.
It sounds like typical macho bullshit to me.
That may be so, but such is Revachol, and this is what is expected of us in Revachol.
You get the feeling you're being handled with kid gloves because your cheeks are still soaking wet.
Glad to hear it was minor. Can you go on?
Absolutely. Superstars always get back up and try again.
Then, let's go.
So, like, seriously, what's eating you, man?
There is a hint of pity in her eyes. Her hair is dyed blonde, with dark roots showing, and she wears thick black eyeliner. Most men wouldn't call her pretty. There is a manliness to her, a coarseness.
Yeah, can we talk for a minute?
I was wondering when you would come around. What's up?
I guess there is something that's been making my life hell.
What is it?
I think it's the plight of the working class.
Oh, really?
The golem of capital runs rampant, smashing creator and slave alike. I fear the process is irreversible.
So the thing that's got you crying in front of strangers is social justice?
I haven't seen much of this world, but from what I've seen, social justice is an adolescent term. Sounds almost liberal. What's got me shaken up is the people's struggle, and it's got me shaken up bad.
Yeah, man, they're pretty bad.
She says without much conviction. It makes me sick thinking about the thousands, millions, billions? How many people are there actually? How many people are there in the world?
3.6 billion, not counting those in sale.
Really? That many? Reduces me to tears thinking about the 3.6 billion, and God knows however many more in that sale place, crushed under the tyranny of the market.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Are you sure you're not just hung up on some chick, though?
Perhaps.
Now that you mention it, I found these letters I'd thrown in the trash. They might have something to do with it.
Okay. Why'd you think that?
First, they had just the faintest scent of chewing gum on them. Like, I could still smell it under the shit.
Wow, man. That's pretty symbolic. Don't you think?
Yes, I found that to be very symbolic, too.
Okay. What else?
They were written in a woman's hand, and oh boy, did reading them make me feel not good.
There you have it then, chick trouble. Not political after all. Who was she?
I don't remember.
Really? You seem to be pretty upset about this chica. Are you sure you don't remember anything about her?
I remember her scent, and that's all.
Wow, man. That's some pretty strange shit. Are you sure the letters were for you?
Yeah, I'm sure. Why would I have reacted so strongly otherwise?
How come you don't remember, though? Is it like some selective memory thing?
Wait, what do you mean by selective memory?
Man, when I get hurt, I just want to forget that shit, you know? That kind of selective memory.
I think it's more about me getting so unbelievably drunk that I completely erased all memory of this world.
Yeah, or it might be that. This one time I did so much booze that I forgot too.
It's obvious she's done more than booze.
Or it might just be some psych bullshit, you know? Königstein wank.
What's this Königstein wank?
You know, the psych thing they've got going on there. Rich people like it. People in Königstein are mostly rich.
Thanks for the bullshit psych thing, then.
You're welcome. Might be for the best to keep that shit forgotten, though. Just my opinion. If it itches, don't scratch.
Have you seen a red-haired woman around?
No.
Just no?
It's pretty desolate here. I only hear the dogs bark at night and see the shadows move down the coast.
What's your name?
Acel.
And your surname?
Why?
I'm from the police. It's for paperwork.
Okay, it's Berger.
A very common name. You have little reason to doubt that's a real name. But she's not all that surprised by this cop show questioning, is she?
What's that device you have out there?
This is a portable recording device. It's for field recording. Low quality, but still.
And the wires?
Actually, just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone.
What's a contact microphone?
A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like this ice.
Your mangled brain would like you to know there is a boxer called Contact Mike.
Yeah? Any news on my wife's name? How about my mother?
No. You're welcome.
Does this have anything to do with Contact Mike?
Yeah, I record stuff with it.
No, I mean the boxer, Contact Mike.
No. This is a contact microphone. It's for recording inside solid objects. Contact mic just beats people up.
You know, Contact Mike doesn't just beat people up. Contact Mike is a role model.
An entire litany spews forth.
Yes, you heard right. You should try to be more like Contact Mike. A successful athlete and an inspirational figure who has overcome social, physical, and mental obstacles.
Man, you are one weird cop.
This isn't about me. This is about your lack of respect for one of boxing's greats. And for yourself.
What is it with you and this Mike guy?
She pauses. The question is rhetorical.
Okay, if it floats your boat, I'll be more like Contact Mike and less like me.
Self-respect is not meant to float any boats but your own.
I'll keep that in mind, for future use.
How does that thing work?
The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The book said it only picks up structure-born sound, if you like technobabble.
Where'd you get the mic from?
Same place I got the recorder from, the Palaceum.
The Palaceum?
Oh man, you haven't been to the Palaceum? It's the coolest place in this whole drug-addled shithole. It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock. Musicians live there, like real musicians. I once saw Arno van Eyck.
Thinking about it really cheers her up. It's a long way from here, though.
That sounds interesting. Who's this Arno guy?
Oh yeah, guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck. Or really be a Palaceum-going kind of person.
I get down.
I don't know what that means.
I grind.
I don't know what that means either.
No, but I have concrete evidence that I rock. In the form of a wrecked tape player and a completely trashed hostel room.
That's cool.
She breathes on her fingers. Looks like she doesn't know what to say. You're right. Time has deserted me.
Sucks, man. Was there something else? About the contact mic, perhaps?
Actually, I had some more non-mic questions for you.
Okay.
What are you doing out here in the cold?
Recording, I guess.
What are you recording?
I think I'm recording cracks in the ice. But there's no way to tell. Not without headphones. I think I just recorded your footsteps too. Not sure how that'll sound.
Wait, what happened to the headphones?
My boyfriend sold them.
What for?
I don't know, man. Things. Just stuff you need for life.
A lie. They were probably pawned off for something suspicious.
And what are these recordings for? The cracks, the footsteps?
The musicians in the Elysium used them for making music. They looped the stuff, cutting the tapes together. They make music out of cracks in the ice and keys jangling. Crazy sounds like that. It's hard to explain. Anyway, I thought I'd make some too. It's supposed to be, like, a music place anyway.
She rubs her shoulders and looks around.
I don't really know what I'm doing. They use synthesizers too. I don't have a synthesizer.
She looks at the recording device, the thing she thought would fill her hours with joy and escape. It's turning out to be an empty fantasy. She feels childish, very useless all of a sudden.
Take this, you're called.
The lieutenant begins to take off his jacket.
No, man, fuck that, I'm cool. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry about the fuck.
It's okay.
Now this is where a hat would come in handy.
Yeah, maybe you were right about the hat.
Give her your hat. Here, you need this more than I do.
Thanks.
Goodbye, amphibian sports visor that offers no warmth whatsoever. You said it's supposed to be a music place. What is?
That? The boys think it could be a place, like the Elysium or something. Stupid. It's really not going to be a Elysium, that's for sure.
She nods towards the church. The boys?
Yeah. Andre and the guys, they're inside, in the tent.
And why is that?
Why are you freezing out here while the boys are inside?
They got too much stuff crammed in there. No room.
Stuff like what?
Music stuff, mostly. Like this tape recorder, but bigger. And there's piles of it.
You mean like those headphones your boyfriend sold?
Yep. They were pretty. I'm sorry we sold those.
Why not just leave some of it out here so you don't have to freeze?
That stuff is more expensive than I am. More expensive than any of us, really. Doesn't matter. I can take the cold.
I had some other questions.
Go ahead.
Tell me more about this music place you've been planning in the church.
It's supposed to become, like, a club for Nordic dance music, like that new style of synthesizer stuff they play at the Elysium. Except that, yeah.
She looks at the old wooden church up on the poles. As a mean wind comes bellowing in, the 6-story structure lets out a doleful shriek. What's anadoic music?
You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with electronic instruments.
Electronic instruments like what?
Synthesizers and tape consoles. Microcomputers too. Anything that uses electricity, but isn't guitars. Also found sounds, stuff like that.
You see clear, beautiful, violent flashes of light. Light cutting through a smoke-filled darkness. That is what the future will look like, if it ever comes. This is an evolutionary step up from amplified instruments, which in turn are a step up from acoustic instruments. What comes after it, you wonder? A black-tinted nothingness, or something finer?
So you want to turn the church into a club?
I know. It's not my idea. Andre and the boys found the place. It was supposed to be deserted, but now they can't even take it. Hey, you two are cops.
No, we are the law.
Okay, well, maybe you could talk to Andre and the guys, because there are some strange things going on in that church. If you're police, you should look into it, right?
I'll talk to him.
They're inside that thing there. Would be cool if you did. Was there something else?
Enough about the church then. I had another question.
Go ahead.
You seem surprisingly comfortable being questioned. Why is that?
Well, it's just questioning, right? You're just questioning me. It's what cops do.
Have you been questioned before?
Once or twice, yeah. I'm sorry I haven't had the Revachol experience they get east of the river.
What's east of the river?
Rich people. Rich people are east of the river.
I'll bet they're really rich. They must be very special people to be so rich.
Oh, they are. And I'm scum.
You're not scum.
Oh, but I am.
So what trouble have you gotten into with the police?
The usual. I had a shitty run as a teenager.
What's the usual?
You know, drinking, getting into fights. The ugly stuff that happens when you move out your parents' place at 13. In Forberg.
Interesting term. Time to glean some knowledge.
Wait, what is in Fallberg?
Is this a rhetorical question?
No, I literally can't remember even the most basic terms sometimes.
Forberg, not in Forberg, is a massive banlieue south of Jamrock Quarter. It is the largest ghetto in Revachol, possibly the world.
I know what Jamrock is, but let's say I didn't.
We are Jamrock, sort of. Martinez is called North Jamrock sometimes. Jamrock is also a ghetto, only smaller than Forberg.
Jamrock is a district of Revachol comprised of the following quarters: Pox, Villa Lobos, Central Jamrock, Grand Couronne, Old South, and the Valley of the Dogs. Learning is great.
And why did you have to move out when you were so young?
My dad was a drunk. Plus, I guess, I just wanted to drink too, you know. Get my party on.
I get that. I'm a major party animal myself. Major.
Alright.
She smiles a little without meaning to. Empathy heroic. The tape recorder lies on the ice like a discarded toy. Pick it up.
The device is cold to the touch. An angular Omicron logo adorns the yellow plastic cover. Underneath you see a reel of tape rolling. You put the device back on the ice.
Okay. Bye.
Time to juice some empathy.
Hello again.
The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick from the batteries inside. The company logo, Omicron, adorns its yellow plastic cover. Inside, the tape is rolling. The girl looks at the device in your hands.
I'm sorry you have to sit here on the ice, feeling miserable, at your age, or at any age in this weather, waiting for it to get dark.
She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount of makeup.
The people who built this world intended it to be better for you, but they failed. It's easier to live in their failure with this by your side. Tap on the tape recorder.
The wind howls. She remains silent. It's real. Tell her.
This is not a childish fantasy. It can be a real weapon against what's coming for you now.
What is?
I'm once again reminded of how Contact Mike rose from the slums of San Baptiste to the top of the boxing world, overcoming adversity and serious brain trauma. Nothing is coming. Nothing he wouldn't knock out in 3 rounds. The real fight is for the right attitude.
I can't believe this turned into another Mike thing. Fine. Okay, I'll stick to it. I'll knock it out in 3 rounds. So thanks, I guess, for the psych session. Maybe I can return it. What's been eating you, officer?
Actually, that's it for now. The Litany of Contact Mike. Temporary research bonus, -1 logic. No pain, no gain. -1 conceptualization. Push it. -1 drama. Make it. Research time, 15 minutes. The problem? It's time once again to return to the 20 things you like to say about Contact Mike, the boxer who is, apparently, the paragon of open competition. It doesn't get any better than this. Any better. Both inside and outside the ring. Stop. Point at someone. Someone in the distance. Point your finger at him. He will point his finger back at you, vaulting an impassable gulf of finance and privilege, too. Huh. That's an interesting one.
A pane of eternite has been planted into the snow. 2 poles are holding it up. Barely holding it up. It could fall over any minute. A stronger gust of wind might be enough.
What is this?
It looks like a makeshift bridge. Could be convenient.
The pane falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk.
More tribalistic markings. This post is covered in little humanoids. A pole screwed into the ice keeps this tent erect. Trash from some unending party.
The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open. Inside, 3 young men are listening to some new form of music. It's like nothing you've ever heard. One of them looks at you.
Come on, get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out. Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead. I'm too old for this.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike delinquents.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
It smells like sweat and laundry detergent, plus a trace of ether. A pile of nasal sprays, brand name Nosafed Ultra. Canisters filled with what appears to be water, the label says distilled. A speaker, the big kind they use for live music.
A young man with peroxide blonde hair holds up a Harman Welshi tape player, nodding along to the music. He looks at you with a knowing smile and says, as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous evangelical secret.
Hardcore!
Is it?
It's hardcore!
You're just gonna keep saying hardcore, aren't you?
Skibber-dee, skibber-danger. I am the rearranger.
Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths, you think? The young man with the tape.
This is hardcore.
Is it?
It's hardcore!
I don't know what to say to that.
Skibber-dee, skibber-danger. I am the rearranger.
There has to be some way to talk to this person. You just haven't found it yet. It's definitely not about signs. Whatever you try again, find your way out of this maze of things to say.
Back to the heavyweight. Hardcore!
Say nothing.
Hardcore!
Still say nothing.
Hardcore to the mega.
Alright.
Here comes the night. We're closed. True. Hard. Full. Core.
Say nothing.
Hardcore.
Nothing.
Hardcore to the mega.
Nothing.
Internally coherent.
Nothing.
All core. All right. Yeah.
Nothing.
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music in the very real air of the stuffy tent.
Hardcore. Ah!
He lets out an agonized roar over the feeble-ish, obviously not too hardcore beat below. So hardcore. Actually, no, but seriously, I'm a little worried it isn't.
The question is, what is the question?
That would have been good if I had asked you a question, but I didn't. Now it's just idiotic.
But there was a question?
The club. True.
Nothing.
Hardcore.
Nothing.
Hardcore.
Nothing.
Internally coherent.
Nothing.
All core. All
Nothing.
He furrows his...
Hardcore. Ah!
So hardcore.
Is it though?
He stops dead in his tracks, tilting his head to the side. I was just thinking that a moment ago.
One mind, one spirit. There's no other world. There's no other life. The club. True. Hard.
Nothing.
Hardcore.
Nothing.
Hardcore.
Nothing.
Internally coherent.
Nothing.
All core.
He furrows his...
Hard.
So hardcore.
Is it though?
It is.
But is it? I mean, really?
He tilts his head to the other side like an owl. The question is, what is the question?
No, but seriously, I'm a bit worried it isn't.
He frowns and starts bobbing his head back and forth once more.
Don't be alarmed. Everything is okay. He isn't actually worried. Everything is still super hardcore. What he probably means is, it could be even more so.
You said you were worried. What do you think is wrong with the music?
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm still in love with the hardcore.
He turns pensive all of a sudden.
Sometimes I just feel like anodic music is in its infancy, you know? For example, take this Arno van Eyck jam I've been pumping for the last months, and will continue pumping for the rest of 51.
Isn't something holding it back from being hyper?
He thinks for a moment, then his expression clears.
It's like it's only ultra.
I think it's super hardcore, but you're right. It's not hyper hardcore.
If anything, it sounds a bit proto, like it's not fully formed yet. You might be a moribund alcoholic and a failed cop, but you are pretty certain a thing cannot be both proto and hardcore.
It's proto, not hardcore at all.
Wow! Culture cop! I think you might be right. But how could it become hardcore then? I know it in my heart, but cannot think it in my head. If this is not hardcore, how could anything be?
Wait, I just remembered something. I'm the police.
Uh-huh.
The young man is bursting with anticipation. Actually, it's more likely to hinder us.
Oh.
So that sounds suspiciously like a question. I thought the question was, what is the question?
No! This is the answer!
Try to think of something that could make it harder core.
What? Guys, there's something happening in his head.
Think even harder.
Oh yeah! He's doing it!
But you're not. This is almost certainly a matter that surpasses the limits of reason.
My imagination fails me.
I know! So does mine!
He laughs and shakes his head. I can't help you with this right now. I need something else, something extra.
Yeah!
Are you a thought reader?
No nation, but transnation! No war, but class war!
So you're not a thought reader, you're a communist.
He's not a communist. It's just something he likes to yell. He picked it up from a tape jockey at the Elysium. She was a communist, though.
Yeah! With the rebel yell!
But why aren't you a communist? Communism is the truth.
I can be a communist! If you want that, do you want me to be a communist?
Please don't turn him into a communist.
Oh yeah, turn him into a communist. Come on, it would be super.
Be a communist, Egghead. The future needs your help.
Aye!
He yells. You guess he is a communist now. Does that mean you're a thought reader?
Don't be a lunatic. Of course he isn't. Jermaine here just yells random things. Odds are, sooner or later one of them will come off as thought reading.
Yeah! Revolution imperative!
Unless you were thinking Revolution imperative right now. Anyway, I've had a similar thing happen with Eggs yelling. I know what you mean.
Lie, but I was thinking Revolution imperative.
That's fucked up, man. Lying like that. And a cop, too.
Tell me something else, Egghead.
Communism rules the nation!
He looks at you with an almost impossibly wide, shining grin, looking to see if you approve. Right on, Comrade Luminary.
Here comes the sun!
Is your real name Germaine?
Dark Code Hardcore! Jermaine Egghead!
Basically, yes it is.
Why are there lungs on your belt buckle?
Lungs are for love!
Why would lungs be for love?
When Dolores Day was anointed innocence, her lungs started glowing through her body. For the world loved her, and she loved it back. Yeah!
Why wouldn't they be? Are the lungs not the place where you hold the breath of your soul?
Really?
I think so.
Well, the lungs are where you hold the breath of your soul, aren't they?
Highly gaily. All right! Here comes the night!
Let's see if we can juice a little bit of physical instrument here.
The large head.
Good morning, comrade! Yeah!
Physical instrument formidable. Maybe your body can tell you what Arno van Eyck's jam is missing to make it harder core.
No, that would be silly. Your body isn't for thinking. It's for robust, wholesome things. Things like discus, javelin, and 400-meter hurdles. Discus.
Did someone say disco?
I can retry. +1, horrific necktie wants to try again.
No, that would be silly.
Did someone say disco?
I can't seem to use the alcohol to raise my learning cap there. Let me look into this real quick. We may have to come back another time and try this then.
Go speak to Andre. I'm just annoyed.
The strangely dressed young man says without looking up from the toolbox, "What if I want to speak to you first?"
I suck at socialising, man. If you go speak to Andre, I'll have time to tune in, get a reading on your sign.
Before he's finished talking, he's already turned back to his tools. That's ridiculous.
See? It's already going wrong. Sign is off.
The young man picks up a thin metal saw blade and examines it.
Scared? Angry? It's hard to say which this man is. He's just scared. You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet you.
There is definitely something futuristic about his hair, aggressively so. You get the sense that this is what the future will look like. Imbecilic, yes, should the future ever come, it will look deeply imbecilic, like this guy.
Shake his hand.
His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm. He's trying to project and inspire confidence.
This is my posse, Noid.
The young man with earrings looks at you suspiciously.
And Egghead. Egg! Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers.
Wait, how many venues have you organized?
We have many in the pipeline, officer.
That means they haven't set up a single one yet.
Why are you here?
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Also for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues.
There's no need. The place is pretty bad.
Which brings me to the problem of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomania on the coast.
An attempt to pander to your perceived conservative sensibilities. No person his age would ever use a word like narcomania with a straight face. Don't fall for it.
Enough history, Onyx. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the church, and I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads! Burnouts! Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. Nah, strike that, in Reversholt.
Strike that! The word! And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts hold up in there are the worst kind.
Good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
I feel like you may be laying this on a bit thick. What's really so bad about these dope heads and burnouts?
They're spooky.
What exactly do you mean by spooky?
I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre and a place of spiritual refuge.
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse.
People just want to spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can dance like that.
Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for.
I'll look into it. Tell me more.
All right, man.
Andre's obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is. The boys exchanged giddy looks.
What's the status of the church? I haven't gotten inside the building yet.
I asked Noid to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. A padlock. It's a temporary fix. Just something to contain the situation.
I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
What about the key?
Of course. Noid, give the officer the key.
All right.
The speed freak dips into his belt peak and produces a yellow key. He then makes a sudden cool-infused move, tossing it in your general direction. Let it fall to the ground, then pick it up like a normal adult person.
Noid watches you pick up the key with a smirk.
How long have these people been locked in there?
Not long. Like a week, maybe?
How can you be sure they haven't starved to death?
I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 85% sure they're still alive.
Somewhere in the ruinous past that led you here, there was something called exams. You may have learned the term involuntary manslaughter there.
85%'s good enough. No one lives forever, baby.
Exactly. That's exactly what we thought.
The Cage of the Rage! Rough Blaze!
Egg means the situation is monitored. It's relatively safe. No one has died yet.
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Let's do it.
Who exactly are these people inside the church?
Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses.
You haven't even seen anyone, and you want the police involved?
Well, there's also the machinery.
This machinery is of the deeply mystical variety.
When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together. So about 2 weeks ago, we came here hoping to set the stuff up. Suddenly, there are all these strange machines lying around in there.
One of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires into water. Never seen anything like it.
Andre, tell him about the feeling.
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with us, watching us from the dark.
No, the other one.
Which other one? I'm not as in tune with my emotions as you are, Egg.
Felt like silence. Awful silence.
For this man, even regular silence is awful enough. But that was something greater.
But you haven't physically seen anyone?
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone, or something, eyeing us inside. But that's kinda it.
The woman. Red hair, maybe? A lorry woman?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
But not really. Brown hair. Old. Heavy, dark side.
So which one is it?
What Noid said.
So brown and older, Ruby might have dyed her hair, though it seems like a stretch at this point. You have to see for yourself. These people are not reliable.
What was that about something watching you?
Like you aren't alone, you know?
It wasn't quite human, if you know what I mean.
Not human? As in a ghost? Do you know what he means?
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling, like some kind of crab man.
A crab man?
Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling, like a crab.
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behaviour.
Odd. Crabs are usually marine creatures, and not known for climbing walls.
Ambush behavior. Crab man.
Crab man!
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. Estelle was alone that time, but I believe her. If she comes out running and says there's a crab in there, there's a crab in there.
You should ask her about it, but be nice. Don't tell her you don't believe in the crab.
The implications of this are too numerous to consider. Proceed with caution. Learn all you can before entering that dark building. There probably is no crab man. Don't let them draw you in with this nonsense.
Can you tell me more about this machinery?
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too. Probably, very likely.
So how can you be sure they're burnouts and dopeheads if you haven't seen them?
Well, honestly, I can't. But I am.
This is a below-feeble attempt at avoidance. Basically, he is attempting to weaponize idiocy.
Wow, you can't, but you do. I should add weaponized idiocy to my own repertoire.
Hey now, I'm 70% sure they're substance abusers. Don't let all that technology fool you. Where do you think the drugs come from?
Alright, let's talk about something else.
Sure. What?
You mentioned some kind of ecclesiastites own the church. Who are the ecclesiastes?
Oh yeah, that's a meteor name for the founding party. Thought it'd be cool to use it.
If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagoguery.
Before we go on, what do you mean by Meteorin?
You know, of Meteo. Concerning Meteo.
Meteo?
Meteo, a country on Muindi. On the Muindi Isla.
One of the poorest of the first world nations today, but once a great ancient civilization. Capital, Tilakos by Percentic.
Now humor me, Andre. What is the founding party?
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know. I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a very powerful religious organization.
And?
And they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericanassian Church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They, like, made the innocentic system, no?
They sound exactly like the kind who would want loud, hypnotic music in their church.
You're right, they do.
He says, without the slightest hint of irony.
The Pericanassian Church is about love. And Nordic music is about love. I got love for my Pericanassian posse. Love is the relay out of death. We dance!
He violently shakes the tape player as if to see if he can break it.
Love is hardcore!
Unity! Unity!
Make some noise for my Insulindian posse!
He turns the volume up, then looks at you with a knowing nod, as if it's obvious you will now break into dance.
You feel it. The anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the bass, as if testing the waters.
No words. Enjoy the beat. Nod your head.
Feels good.
I guess love can be pretty hardcore.
Oh yeah, it can.
He's coming around. You're getting it.
I don't quite understand what you're talking about, though. What's a posse?
Your posse's like your people, man. Like you got your cup posse. You look out for each other and you party together. That's a posse.
And where is your posse, detective? Nothing comes to you. The world is silent.
You're right. How could the founding party be anything but enthusiastic? Dance music is about love, and so is the Pericanassian Church.
Yeah! Yakokata! The place to be!
He seems ecstatic that you share his vision of Pericanassianism.
Do it for the masses. Do it for the crew.
His friend forms a fist with a screwdriver still in hand, approvingly so.
I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you to imply otherwise. Anyway, you got more questions?
The one with the large head is still looking at you, nodding his head, waiting for your body to start moving.
Yeah! Let it out! Let the disco happen! Bring the disco into this world! Get this church shit on, and then dance there, motherfucker!
I wanted to ask you about this tent full of equipment.
Yes. What?
I see you brought your own water.
Yeah. Good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church even has running water.
And it's distilled, too.
Oh. It's the one they sell at the fuel station.
It's like he's lying to you, my liege. But he's slippery enough that there's nothing for you to grab hold of.
Alright, enough of this.
He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
That was a very high logic check. Do we have anything that can juice it?
Hi again. So, how are things going?
Okay, so the Speed Freaks want to start a club for dance music. That much checks out. Yous like music. You feel as though you might have liked music more when you were young, too. But you digress.
What's the gist of it?
The gist of it is, they want to turn the church into a club, but a suspicious element has overtaken the building. It's very important to understand what the gist of things is. Always consult the gist before making up your mind. This is going well. Plus, and it has to be considered, you can't invent the future of dance music in this smelly old tent. Imagine if you had the church. That settles it. Analysis complete. Their story checks out. It still feels as if this didn't quite go as it should have.
As always...
Hi again. So, how are things going?
Nothing jumps out to you. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Really, because I could swear something's not adding up here.
How about you get out and...
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
Hi again. So, how are things going?
A number of things don't add up. Let's take a look. How about gather around, kids?
Okay, kids, now gather around.
The young Speed Freak puts down a busted capacitor and looks at you. The one with the large head seems very enthusiastic about whatever you have planned. Their would-be leader is less amused.
Sometime in the past, I'm not sure when and where, but betrayal was involved. I fell sick and became the shadow you see now, but before that, I have reason to believe I was a police detective.
But you still are!
Thank you for your kind words, but everyone in here seems to see that I'm a disgrace to the uniform.
What happened?
Disco happened.
I've been trying to say we need the next step in dance music to happen fast! Shut it! What? I have! I've said that!
Now obviously, that might have as well have been 1,000 years ago, but there's still some detective left in me.
The young Speed Freak is silent. He senses something is wrong.
This isn't the makings of a club. It's a tent full of laboratory equipment for manufacturing drugs.
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look, we even have speakers.
He points at the speaker.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
Where is his friend? Did he lose his friend?
What do you mean, friend?
The other speaker. You only have one.
It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about sound reproduction in anodic music. Other speaker.
This may be the brain damage talking, but you've definitely never heard of monodynamic or one-speaker systems.
You have no headphones. Wouldn't a cell need her headphones to spin tape?
What do you know about spinning tape?
I know you pawned them, likely for lab equipment and drug ingredients.
I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug ingredients.
The distilled water, cornerstone of a clean lab.
And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer?
There's no need for me to pile on any more, is there?
No shit.
In short, you tried to use a police detective to set up a drug lab.
That's... Come on, that's...
Preposterous?
I meant to say, not true.
So what are we going to do with you?
What do you mean, do?
There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. It wouldn't take a lot of pushing.
We do this lawman style. First you tell me everything, then I pass judgment.
Or else?
There's an audible clank as he lets a wrench drop into his toolbox. We'll see. Now speak.
He thinks for a moment, then opens his mouth, but closes it again. Then finally raises his hands.
Things are just way too hard for an entrepreneur in this city. It's not like we're not going to turn the church into the wickedest club in East Reversholt.
Because we are! We totally are!
We just got to turn it into a speed lab first.
You know, to get our foot in the door.
And why did you need me?
Like I told you,
spooky arseholes moved in while I was getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was empty, and now it's all spooked up.
They're not really spooky, are they?
No, man. They're spooky, all right. It's just that they would also probably call the police if we started cooking speed in there.
But the sign was way off too. I couldn't feel the love at all.
Whatever you think is right, sir. But please, we were only trying to make a living.
Let's do this clean. No speed lab, just a club for anodic music.
Yeah!
The young man's smile widens to inhuman proportions. His teeth beam in the floodlight.
I knew it.
The would-be leader drops his spiked head between his knees.
It's impossible now.
No, Andre, it's harder now. This hard cop has come to show us how much the fish is, and the fish is always so much more. We all know there was never going to be a club for anodic music with the Speed Lab. Now it has a fighting chance.
What's that about a fish?
There needs to be a club for anodic music in there. Needs to. Everyone hates each other. Everybody hates it here. It's all just drugs and we're slaves and I can't. We are running out of time. We need a win, Andre. I promise this will be a win. We won't cook speed in there. We'll do it clean. We'll do it true. We'll do it sober and real and beautiful. This will be a victory for the light.
Right. Let's call this incident crime prevention. But I have my eye on you.
Okay. We'll try to do it without the drugs.
He raises his head from between his knees.
We'll do a straight club up in there, spinning the maddest reels, and nothing but. I swear to God. Okay, Egg?
From here on, it'll be straight all the way.
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
The shaggy-haired girl kneels on the sea ice.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church, I mean.
I'll help you, all right.
Great. Let us know if there's any progress, will ya? We've been waiting for weeks here.
The others told me you went inside the church. What did you see in there?
Oh, that. You're not going to believe me. There's no point in me telling you.
She's less prone to blurt it out, Crabman, than the others.
We'll see. Go ahead and tell me.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next to one of those machines there. Noid calls it a mainframe. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother, you know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say anything, just stood still.
That's not especially frightening.
And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall. Upside down like a crab, down the church wall. I think the woman didn't even know he was there. He was completely silent. He stopped right before he got to the floor, then just hung there like that, looking at me. Right at me. I fucking turned around and walked out. End of story.
Like a crab, you say?
The lieutenant nods, his face is stone. What did this crabman look like?
It was too dark. I couldn't tell exactly.
Come on. She obviously could. She already went into detail.
Come on, quit stalling on me. What did he look like?
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff. Had a mesh tank top. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that only made it scarier in a way.
A crab and a banger?
The lieutenant raises an eyebrow.
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw.
You were wrong. I do believe you.
Why?
It seems too ludicrous for a lie.
I guess so. Anyway, what else?
You feel the shadow of a very, very large building fall around you. The sign reads, Sant Brun, 1147. Dusty pews in the shadows. Many seem to be missing. An altar shrouded in dark, or something like that. It's too dark to tell.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Inspect the carpentry.
The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. 2 large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold.
Run your hand over a beam.
The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch.
Open the padlock with the key.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
As you do, you hear the echo of the doomed commercial area, its black halls and dusty machines. Then the feeling passes. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum in the heart of the city.
I think this is a good place to leave off. Next time, we can explore the church.